Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking the
Hey
time
man.
to talk to me. My first question is for Ellen. Vanya has been through a lot. Everyone's been through a lot, but she's been through a lot. In the first season, she was kind of like otherized. She was the odd man out of the family because she didn't quite learn her powers yet. And in season two, we see her fall in love with another woman in the 60s, which is not during that time must have been rough. So I guess can you just talk about as an actress going on that journey with her through her growth and then finally getting to explore her queerness in this season?
Yeah, like you said, in the first season, and her childhood, she was treated, quite horribly. And the end of the first season releases a lot of repressed anger and trauma. And so, where we find her in the second season, in many ways, it was almost like not playing a completely different character, but more open, more able to access her emotion, and then yes, falls in love for the first time, and falls in love with a woman. And it is the 60s, so it was illegal, of course, and considered a mental illness. So there's of course obstacles with that storyline, which but also getting to play her falling in love for the first time, and the beauty of that and the joy of that, and then hoping to be mindful and sensitive in terms of how to represent the other aspects. And mostly I'm happy that a storyline like this is in a show that has the reach that it does.
Yay, love that. And my next question is for Emmy and Tom. One of my favorite aspects of the entire show is that the one of the main themes is like each character has their own trauma that they have to deal with, and they're working towards like healing it into their adulthood. And so often, like superhero media, we see like superhero characters they have to be strong and heroic and brave all the time. But I like that Umbrella Academy. These characters seem more relatable, more human. So I was wondering if you could just talk about like what was that bringing that kind of nuance to both your characters and making them seem more realistic and like I said, more humanized. Whoever wants to start.
Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that was the biggest appeal to me about the character and the show, because so many superhero shows don't address that. And I'm always, in any superhero, I'm more interested in what they are before the superhero, the human behind the superhero, because I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know what makes them uh, want to be that. So the thing is with Umbrella Academy, effectively all these kids were victims of child abuse, so that's a deep set thing in their bodies going into adulthood, and in their psyches. So watching them all deal with those issues in their own individual ways, for me, is by far the most interesting thing about the show. And then seeing how they're now dealing with those things that we saw them deal with in season one, how they're then taking that into this new world that they're entering into, in the 60s, that they're all dealing with those things. They still carry those things. They've dealt with some of them. And in fact, some of them have been made worse, because of the decisions they made in season one. Um, because of, again, those kind of daddy issues, I suppose. But yeah, I love that, man. I love that. And I think that's what's so great and why it's so relatable for a lot of the audience, because they recognize themselves in the human behind the superhero, and it means that you have to get over those things to be the hero, right? And to get over fears and insecurities and stuff.
And what are your thoughts, Emmy?
Yeah, I agree with so much of that. I think there is a wealth of content when it comes to superhero movies and shows and graphic novels and everything that falls under in that category. And I think this show the human side of this family, and the fact that the superhero part took such a back seat, and everyone is so relatable in their own ways, and hopefully I think a lot of the viewers find things within all of the siblings that they can relate to, and scenarios that they can relate to, and pain and trauma that they can relate to. And also also on the lighter side of things, I think Diego, how endearing Diego is, and you know, and how, you know, Luther is just always trying to do his best at all times for everyone. And I think that, you know, there's so many amazing qualities that these characters have that it's just so fun to embody them and kind of bring them to life, and have the opportunity to show, you know, the human side and the grounded side and the, you know, the seemingly like average side of these larger than life superheroes.
Well, I'm getting the rap signal now, but thank you all again so much for taking the time out to talk to me. I can't wait for
Thanks so much, man.
Season 2 is fun. Bye.
Thanks so much, man. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Hi, thanks for taking the time out to talk to me.
How you doing?
And congrats again, both of you, on season 2. I know fans love season 1, so it's nice to get more content out of the world, especially since we're all stuck and can't do anything else at all.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is for both of you. I know both Five and Diego have been through a lot. All the characters have been through a lot, really. And like one of my favorite themes about the entire Umbrella Academy show is that like everyone is learning to deal with trauma, and they're trying to like grow past it and heal. And so often in like superhero and comic media, like the heroes always have to be like brave and heroic, and it's unrealistic most of the time. So I guess if both of you can share your thoughts on like what's it like to bring that nuance to your characters and make them, I guess, more relatable and more human. Whoever wants to start, sorry.
I'll start. I mean, I think that obviously people connect to that, right? Because there's, we see our faults all the time, and you know, sometimes, you know, to our detriment, we choose not to do anything about it. And I think, you know, with Diego specifically, you see that, you know, Diego knows his resentment towards his father leads him to the actions that he's obviously trying to save JFK, no matter what might happen with the timeline. And I think that a reasonable person would not do that. A reasonable person would let that go. And Diego is obviously very, very wounded. And he feels like through doing that, he's going to find a cure to how he feels towards his father.
And what about you, Aidan?
Well, Umbrella Academy deals with broken people. It's a very dysfunctional family. And I know that word gets tossed around a lot, but if you look at what the dynamic is between each of them relative to what their experience was with Hargreaves, you can see how much that they're dealing with, and they really lean on each other for emotional support and, you know, just try and stabilize each other out and just grow as people and move on and get more comfortable as a family. And so that's an interesting counterpoint to what would otherwise be a family drama with, you know, superpowers. But the show has always been a family show with body count. So that's what is so appealing about it. But you also have all these different shades of genre and also different types of characters and different situations. So there's a little bit of everything, and I think viewers have found that very appealing. I certainly have, at least from the comic books and from what we've been doing with the show.
Yeah. And another one of my favorite things about Umbrella Academy is, like you mentioned, there's so many different characters. Like show is in itself is incredibly diverse. There's actors of color, there's queer characters. We see Vanya fall in love with a woman in Texas in the 60s, and that's unheard of. There's but their identities outside of being heroes are like central to their storyline. They get to just be people, different kinds of people at the same time. So can you guys give me your thoughts on like being a part of like a superhero comic book series where diversity is championed, and it's the real it's like reflective of the real world, but it's not like it's not a big deal, or it's not like the main focus.
I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that. And obviously because, you know, every single one of us, like, we really put our hearts and soul into this, and it never really ever becomes about, oh, we're so diverse. It is just a place where we just see ourselves as collaborators. And I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it, because it it doesn't put us in this righteous place of look at us, we're so diverse. It just puts us as, let us just tell you a really good story, and hopefully you like it.
Love that. Thank you so much again for taking the time out to talk to me, guys. And I like your shirt, David.
You, baby. We got it going.
Hawaiian shirt day. Okay, bye. Hi, guys. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to me.
Pleasure.
And congratulations again on the second season. It's good to have some content back in the world. So, my first question is for Robert. So, Klaus is like this fan favorite character because has so much personality. He's so animated. He's so flamboyant, and especially with the storyline in season 1 where he lost his lover Dave in the war, and that really affected a lot of LGBTQ viewers. So, I guess just what was it like to continue bring him back in season 2, knowing that he gets to bring some a little visibility to queer people on screen? And have you gotten to hear back from any fans, like LGBTQ fans of the show since then?
I have, yeah. I was out at a couple of events and had a lot of lovely teenagers, come up to me and tell me it was a very meaningful performance for them and help them come to terms with themselves and to other people and stuff. So that's all a lovely bonus and a surprise to me, but it's also my job not to carry that, into the second series. Or not to carry it, but just not to have it the front and center of my awareness, But it's lovely. It's a mark of pride, It's a lovely thing. It's a lovely thing to feel as though you've had some involvement in the creation of another person. It's a badge of pride. Yeah.
Thank you. And Justin, so fans got to see a little bit of Ben in season 1, but now, especially in the second season, he's finally getting the chance to like learn about him more and see him more. So how excited were you to finally bring more of Ben to the show? And what was it like getting to be finally like kind of a part of this weird dysfunctional superhero family?
It was wonderful. I mean, I didn't really know the extent to which Ben would potentially return for season 2, and for the writers and our creator Steve Blackman to sort of put in effort to beef up his storyline. Absolutely grateful. I think there's a lot of twists and turns for Ben this season. He gains a bit more agency and independence through the evolution and growth of Klaus's powers. So, they're inextricably tied together, as always. So it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. And I guess just one of my favorite themes about the entire Umbrella Academy is that each character has their own like trauma and their process of healing that they're dealing with. So often in like superhero and comic book media, like origin stories are like romanticized and everyone always has to be super strong and super heroic all the time. So I guess just for both of you, what was it like to bring that nuance to your characters, knowing that they can be a little more human than other superhero media?
Well, you've answered your question there in the question, pal, but I'm a contrarian, so it suited me down to the ground.
Yeah, I think as actors, at the end of the day, we enjoy playing complex, layered individuals. And so this show, even if they're quote unquote superheroes, they're deeply flawed human beings, which is always fun to explore and to play with. So yeah, it's a testament to the writing and the source material.
Thank you guys so much again. Congrats again.
I'm Raffy. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye. Nice to talk to you too.